Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Diary of an Expat. In my channel, we talk about all things moving from the UK to Dubai as an expat. Me and my family, my two sons and my husband, moved to Dubai over 2 years ago, and I wish I had a channel like this, something helping me to navigate the move from the UK to Dubai and helping me to understand everything that went into life over here, moving over here, costs over here, and so on and so forth. In today's video, I'm going to be diving in on what it actually takes to live in Dubai and what sort of realistic budget that you can be looking at. So essentially, how much it's actually going to cost you. Now, this is relating to families of four, okay? So there's myself and my husband and my two kids. I have a grown-up young man who's 20 and one who's 7. So I can only really give you the costs that are relatable to those types of structures of family. If it's just you and a couple, or if it's just you and one child, then it'd be very, very different. So I'm just going to relate these costs to a family of 4. So what are we waiting for? As they say, let's get into it. Right, the first cost that you're gonna encounter when you move from the UK to Dubai is of course gonna be your business setup cost if you're starting a business here, because that's what we did. So we set up a free zone business. You've got the free zone and mainland, and that's not something I'm going to be talking about in this video, but if you want more on that, you can reference this video over here where I interview a guy who helps and who has helped over 40,000 companies set up free zone companies in the UAE. So do reference that video there. So we're talking about the cost to set up a business, and with that obviously comes the visas of the family. So that's all the 4 visas, and that also comes with setting up the residency. So when I say the residency, that's your Emirates ID, the medical, and all that sort of stuff. Now I'm going to give you a ballpark figure. We used, we went directly to a government agency, which was really quite long-winded. Looking back in hindsight, I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I'd just used somebody who was reliable, who could take care of all the headache for me. You're moving over, you don't want that headache, but I'm just going to break down the cost. Now, the cost for that at that point in time was approximately, so this is the business setup, the free zone company, the 4 visas, and the Emirates IDs was approximately 15,000 GBP. Now, I know your eyes are watering at that, but that is the legitimate cost of what it costs to set up a company in the UAE along with the visas and the EIDs. At the end of the day, it depends what reason you're coming into the country for, but you need to start to have this realistic understanding of all these costs that build up, okay? And if you wait to the end, I'm actually going to give you some hindsight, which I actually had in terms of another cost that you might not be aware of, and you should definitely plan into your budget. So that's number 1. Number 2, renting. Right? When you get here, I assume you'll be renting. If you're buying, then that's a different story. This isn't going to relate to that. But if you're going to rent here, you need to understand the renting structure. So how does renting work in Dubai? First and foremost, I'd love to give you this piece of advice, and I wish someone would have told me this. When you first come over, please try to rent an Airbnb for at least 2 months minimum. I've said it in my previous video, we rented for 3 weeks. I don't think it was enough. We were in a real rush then to find our apartment, and basically we kind of rushed the whole process. We just found our feet. We'd kind of been on holiday for 3 weeks. When you come to a new country and you come to live here, the first month or so still feels like a holiday. It doesn't really feel like somewhere you settling. Hence why I say try to rent an Airbnb for 2 or 3 months. Firstly, it's going to give you a great understanding of where you are, and then it's also going to give you time to look around and find out where you and the family like. So in relation to cost to renting, let's go back to that. Renting in Dubai works based on checks. So I rented in the UK and I get how it works. It's just a monthly thing, right? And that's fine. And you have a 2-month deposit or a 6-week deposit. So here it works on the 6-week deposit, but there's this thing known as checks. So they're like, do you want to do 1 check, 2 checks, 3 checks, or 4 checks? And I'm just like, what's a check? And why are we still using checks? Anyway, it's just the way it works here. But basically, if it's one check, that means you're paying the whole of the year in one go. If you do that, you will definitely get a discount on the actual year's rental. Not massively, but you'll get a discount. What we decided to go for was 4 checks. So that's basically paying it quarterly. Now, I know it sounds like a lot, like you're paying a lot at one go, but it does kind of take the pressure off. It's like once you've paid it, the pressure's gone for 3 months. So it's kind of nice in that way. So that's what we opted for. Also, to let you know, when it comes to renting, what was I going to say? Yeah, generally, obviously, it's rented, or if you're renting and it's unfurnished, then do be prepared. Sorry, that's what I was going to say. The actual cost of renting, right? Now, this all depends on where you live. Now, we've been here 2 years and we've lived in 2 different areas already. Now, the first area that I've lived in was Dubai Hills. It's a really nice area. It's quite upmarket. I kind of regret staying there, to be honest, in the first place, because in the UK, we lived in a 4-bedroom house. And then when we were in the Airbnb, as soon as we got here for 3 weeks, we kind of made a hasty decision. And that was basically to rent a 2-bedroom apartment in Dubai Hills. Just because we didn't understand the goings on, didn't understand what was available, we downsized to a 2-bedroom. And it was extortionate. It was really expensive. I am going to say that. So basically, for a 2-bedroom apartment, it basically cost us, including bills, so that's electric, gas, air conditioning, internet, 4,000 GBP a month. Yeah, that's hefty, right? That's in Dubai Hills. So if you want to put the equivalent of that to the UK, then I would say think about something like Chelsea, Kensington. I mean, there is one other snazzier area than Dubai Hills that I know of, and it's called Emirates Hills. And I think that would be your Mayfair, your Park Lane, if we're talking the Monopoly game board, right? So that was 4,000 a month. So that's renting. Now let's talk about health insurance, right? You come to the UAE, you need to have health insurance. Obviously, for the first month or so, I think we were on our travel insurance, which was fine. And then I think for a couple of months, we didn't even have any insurance. And I think my son got ill, and then basically we had to go to the doctors. I mean, the hospitals and the GPs here, the medical centers are second to none. They're so clean, so efficient, no waiting at all, and they're absolutely thorough. They're amazing. So just to let you know, if you don't have insurance and you're looking to get a consultation and you fall sick, your son gets an infection, whatever, it is 100 quid for an actual consultation. Okay, that doesn't include the medicine and anything. That's just the consultation. So just be aware. Now, if you're talking about health insurance for a family of 4, then I'm going to say, at the end of the day, it's not the cheapest thing in the world. And there are different ones that you can get. But I would say for a family of 4 that the health insurance that covers everything would actually range in the region of between 500 and 700 GBP per month. Okay, I know it's a lot and I know it's a hard pill to swallow. In the UK, we had the NHS. We'd never paid a dime for anything to do with prescriptions. Obviously, prescriptions at the pharmacy, yes, we paid for. They were like £13 each time. But however, we're not used to paying these costs. So when it comes to health insurance and you get, smacked with a bill like that, you're like, oh, it's quite high. But you know what? We used it when we got ill, and my son got a fracture on his ankle. My husband, he also had an incident, and we used it. And I mean, it was absolutely amazing. No waiting. The hospitals are wonderful. The surgeons are fantastic. So I can't fault that. So that's health insurance. Then we come down to like groceries, bills, internet. Now, let's start with the bills. So you've got your electric, and the electric is kind of tied with the air conditioning. See, obviously, because every house has air conditioning, because it's so hot in the summer, there's always air conditioning. But in the winter months in Dubai, people really sparingly use the air conditioning, so it sometimes decreases the bill. So let's give you an example. On a monthly basis, we pay anything from 300 to 500 GBP for the electric. which also covers the air conditioning. Now, in the winter months, so that's from like December to like March, it can decrease from 500 down to 300 if you make sure you're turning it off when you're not utilizing those rooms. What's next? Gas. So gas is really, really cost effective here. I think monthly we pay like 25 quid for gas, but do wait to the end of the video because I need to let you know about this one surprise cost when it comes to gas that I never thought I would have to pay for. So that's gas. Then you've got internet. So when you first get to Dubai, you have two service providers. There's DU and Etisalat, and they're the two service providers. So they're like your BT and your Virgin. Now when you first get here, you get all of these calls and you get bombarded by the internet service providers. They're trying to provide you the service, give you their offers, and it's amazing. Because I mean, when we first got here, we got a deal. It was 50% off DU internet, which was the best internet. It was rapid speed, and we got it for 75 GBP per month when it's normally 150. So that was amazing for that, and that's the cost there. What else are we looking at? Aha, education. Let's move on next to education. So we have the nurseries and we have the schools. Now, in the UK, we all know education is free, so to actually start paying for education is quite foreign to us. It's a bit of a rude awakening, and it's not a pill that gets swallowed easily. It's a lot of money. So, I mean, when we first came here, we had some issues finding schools. I'll talk to you about that in another video, but we went to about 40 different schools, okay? So I think I have a really good, well-balanced understanding of the actual cost when it comes to the yearly cost of a school. So we actually tried different school settings for my son who's 7. I have a son who's 20. Now he's no longer in education. So the one who's 7, the bill comes in at around realistic cost, including books, uniforms, and the school for a month is going to be probably £800 to £1,000 a month, okay? And that's for school. And that's every month that you're paying for that. Now, nursery is, in my opinion, very much in comparison to that of the UK. Looking at nurseries, I haven't personally had to look at any myself, but looking at nurseries, it can be anything from 5 to 1,000 to 500 to £1,000 per month for nurseries. And just to make you aware, all of these schools have English-speaking staff. Oh, I just did want to go back to, when it comes back to schools, there's another little fee that you need to think about. And that's when you make an application to the school, you have to give them your Emirates ID and all that good stuff. But some of them, and most of them, take £100 for an application. And I mean, we applied to when we were in the UK, I think we applied to about 20, and I think 5 of them took like 100 quid. And at the time when you're moving, you kind of don't think about it, and you're like, okay, this is what we've got to do. And I mean, it can really rack up. So do be aware of that £100 fee that you have to pay at that point. So that's the schooling. What else do we have? We have the schooling. Then we have travel. How are you going to get about when you get here? Are you going to use the public transport system? Now, if you're used to the UK, you've got the public transport system, which is absolutely phenomenal in my opinion. Buses run like clockwork, trains run like clockwork. There's an amazing system in place. In the UAE, obviously the country's been built for 50 years now. Some of the actual really popular areas have amazing transportation, but they're still working and still developing all the transportation on some of the communities and connecting those. So I personally haven't actually used any public transport. I used Ubers and Careem for the first 6 months, but that soon started to rack up. When my son started going to school, the journeys back and forth, it was absolutely, really a high bill. So then we looked into actually buying a car. I thought, no, I don't want to lease, or I didn't really think about it too much. I was like, let's buy a car. So we bought a car. Unfortunately, we didn't buy it new. I just bought it secondhand. I thought we'll just buy a secondhand car. We're in a different country. I think all the cars in Dubai are really good. So we went to this massive showroom. We got this car and we paid. It was a Hyundai Santa Fe. Okay, so basically, we looked on the internet and we saw what the price of it was in the UK. I think it was like 13,000 GBP in the UK. So we basically paid, I think, £10,000 for it, GBP. Okay, and that was going to be our car for the next 5 years. But that didn't happen. It only lasted about a year, which I will tell you about in another video, which is a super interesting video. But what I've realized since then, and what we actually just did yesterday, is we leased a car. And leasing a car is so good here. It includes your insurance, fully comp. It includes, sorting it out if anything goes wrong with it. And we've got a really nice car, a 2024 plate, everything included, really lovely AC, fit for a family of 4. And that's costing us 400 GBP per month. Okay, because I know in the UK when we leased a car, we leased it was a Nissan Note or something, and it was £250 a month. But I know my insurance was £100 per month, and then there's all the other stuff that comes with it, the road tax, this, that, and the other. So it's actually pretty much the same. And petrol here is so cheap. So to fill up the tank for about a week is about £40. It's really, really cost effective. So that's the car cost. And then we have public transport, I've covered that, electricity, groceries, groceries, that stuff that we eat to keep us living. So groceries here, now in the UK you've got your Morrisons, you've got Wilkinson, you've got Lidl, you've got Aldi, you've got Tesco, you've got Sainsbury's, and you've got Waitrose. Here in Dubai, you've got Spinies or Spinneys, whichever way you like to say it, which is like the Waitrose. You've got Carrefour, and then you've got Giant as well. Now, Giant and Carrefour are actually very similar in price, and they're more kind of like your Tesco prices. I would say, though, really all in all, food is a bit more expensive here. Our food bill for the week comes to approximately like 200 quid for the groceries, 175. If we go to Spinies, it's a lot more. Spinies is super, super expensive. I mean, I don't know if you've heard about this, but Blueberries and Farge yogurt, I think that's how you pronounce it, Farge yogurt, I'll make a video on that because I have to. They deserve their own video. But Spinies is super, super expensive. It's more expensive than Waitrose. I think I said to my son that I haven't seen anything there for less than like 4 quid. So even bread's 4 quid, milk, the 2 litres about 4 quid. Everything is this sort of price. So if you're coming here, you can either think about the Carrefours or the Giant, and there are even other big supermarkets that are a bit further out that are a lot cheaper. Lulu Hypermarket is one of them, so you could think about that. But when you're thinking about meat, and meat here is amazing, I love the quality. It doesn't seem like it's hormone injected and all stuffed of water. It's really good quality. Our meat, we get it from the butchers, they deliver it to the house. It's really nice, and it's about £100 a month that we're paying for meat. So that's all that good stuff. So there you have it, guys. I mean, that's essentially all of the costs that you're looking at. Now, comment below on what you think about those costs, what you thought the costs were, and do feel free to share this video with anyone who you know who's thinking about coming to Dubai and is thinking about the cost. Because to be honest, there's so much things that you don't think about when you're moving country that you don't even think to take into consideration. So do share, like, comment on this, and do comment below on what else you'd like me to record videos on. I'd love to help you out. I did say if you stayed to the end, I'd give you some special nuggets. Now, there's 2 things that I totally weren't aware of that totally shocked me when it came to costs in Dubai. So after 2 years, so you set up your company and you pay that £15,000 initially. After 2 years, you actually have to renew your trade license. So that means you have to renew your business license. So I'm going to give you another figure that you're going to need to budget in. So I don't know if you want to budget in 2 years or in a 5-year way, but I think it's really good to budget for 4 years when you come here, because every 2 years you're going to have to renew your company license. We've just done that, and that's basically with the visas and with the Emirates IDs, and that's cost. We used an amazing agency, £8,000. Okay, so that's another one cost. And I did say something about the gas when you move into a villa. This is basically you are going to have to pay for the gas connection to be activated. That was a bit of a shocker. We're like, what are we doing? Why are we activating a gas connection? Anyway, it is what it is. And that they take a deposit for that. And when we got there at the counter, I was like, okay, it's going to be 100 quid, 200 quid. And they actually took £1,000 deposit for the gas connection. So that's something else you're going to have to think about. What else did I put down here? It was that. Perfect. So they were all the costs that you need to take into consideration for a 2-year period in Dubai as a family of 4. Now, if you want to total that up, I think we're saying, let's put it into perspective, 15,000 for the visa, that's 48,000. That was for that 2-bedroom apartment, but you can get stuff a lot cheaper. However, for a family of 4, it is probably going to be in that range with the bills included. So about 48,000, unless you move to another area, which is called Damac Hills. I'll talk about that in another video. So that's 48,000 there. And then you've got the bills, which were all approximately, with the internet, about 700 a month. Then there's the car leasing, that's 400. Then there's the health insurance, that's 700 a month. So put all of these together, and I think you can start to see and you can tally up that it costs a significant amount of money. So I hope that gives you a better perspective on the type of budget that you need. Alexa's decided to have a voice of her own. Not now, Alexa. So basically, I hope it gives you a good idea of the budget that you need when coming to Dubai. So I hope you found this video helpful. Like I said, comment on what you'd like to see in the future. Like it, share it with others also. So this is me signing off, Rashda Ali, the Diary of an Expat, where I share all the things and experiences that I have gone through since I've come to Dubai with my family of 3, my husband and my 2 kids, and helping you to navigate this minefield. So until the next time, take care.